Beautiful. Hey everybody, welcome everyone. Um, Today is a special day, right? Today is an absolutely special and beautiful day. So we're going to be talking about decluttering, right? We're going to be talking about cleaning up our lives, both in the physical aspect, so all of the many things that we have accumulated over the years, and then also the emotional side that comes with that. So, for those of you who are new to me, my name is Zarina Elamine. I am the founder of the Legacy Keepers, right? We are a movement to sit at the feet of our elders, to gather their stories, to record their wisdom, to make sure that the many things that they have learned over the years remain, right? Remain. And today is a part of our master series. This master series gets us to talking about subjects that are related, right? Related to this movement of sitting at the feet of our elders. And once we know that, we have a lot of things that we have that are connected with caring for our elders and loving our elders and maintaining good relationships, we also got to look at the physical side, right? We also got to look at the physical side. So today we are going to be talking with Miss Tanisha Lyons-Porter. She is a celebrity organizer who is a natural born organizer, which is the name of her movement and her company. And this natural born organizer movement is something that Tanisha has created to help countless clients be able to declutter and declutter in a way that reduces the time and also reduces the frustration. Now, Tanisha is not just somebody who knows how to clean up really well, right? She is a board member of the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. She is actually the past president of the Los Angeles chapter. She is also a member of the National Association of Black Professional Organizers. My girl has been featured in over 35 popular publications like Better Homes and Gardens, Real Simple, the Washington Post, the LA Times, Costco Connections magazine, all of the online stuff like parents.com. I mean, she is everywhere, right? Now, of course, Tanisha went to the Mecca, which we have in common. She is a proud alumna of Howard University. She is a mom, she is a wife, she is a grandmother, and she lives in LA. So I want you all to give her a beautiful welcome. Everyone, type it to the chat box. Say, "What's up, Tanisha?" Hi, Tanisha.
Hey, hello. Hey, Bison. How are you?
HU. I love this. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your expertise with us. This is a subject that a lot of us have some shame around. A lot of us have been dealing with material goods, clutter, and we kind of push it to the back of the corner. And we think that it's not affecting us. We think that it doesn't have any impact because it's in that little dark corner. But we know that it's there and it's lurking and it has a lot of different effects on us. So today we're going to talk about all of that. But Tanisha, I wanted to just start with that shame part of it because I ain't even gonna tell you. Before we came on here, I was like, I'm not gonna let that lady see my desk right here. So I said, let me clean up. I said, let me clean up my desk because she is not about to see my clutter back here while we're supposed to be talking about decluttering. So, Tanisha, what about the shame? Can we start there real quick?
Yeah, because and once again, thank you for inviting me here about this important conversation. Listen, I can talk about this stuff from the rooftops and the mountaintops all day long. And it's because our home, we grew up being told that to have pride in your spaces in your home, right? And that's what we were supposed to do. But let's be honest, some things just don't come natural for everybody. And that's the reason why I call my business Natural Born Organizers, because I realized I didn't realize very early on that the way that I think about spaces is different and comes natural to me and doesn't come as easy for other people. But I understand that now. Like thinking back, I was in the sixth grade, staying in for recess, helping my sixth grade teacher organize the classroom, right?
Mhm.
When I was in elementary school and high school, I would constantly rearrange my bedroom for efficiency. When my parents would go away with their married friends to Cancun, when Cancun and Cabo was new, I would, declutter the pantry and throw out the flour that had the little weeble weeble, whatever you call them in there. I would go into the pantry and get rid of the cup, the mugs that were chipped. And so I did that, right? Because I saw that there was a need. I was the one putting up the groceries, but the pantry was full with things that were expired. So I was trying to make things easier for me, right? But the shame comes in is that we've been told, whether actually been told audibly or just in behaviors and culture, that this is something that we should know how to do,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? But what if we don't? What if our parents didn't? What if whoever we grew up didn't know? Or they did it a certain way, but it doesn't work for you as an adult, right? Or a lot of times I hear with my clients, I was so organized when I was a kid, or I was so organized before I got married, or I
Mhm.
was so organized before I got this job, or I was so organized before fill in the blank.
Mhm.
And then that shame comes because it's like, well, I should be able to do this. I've always done this. And so it's a combination. It's very, very nuanced. But what I like to shout from the mountaintops is this is what I can do in my sleep. I literally, when I am with a client and there's a challenge, I dream about the solution, right? And so for most people, they're one or two tweaks away from the system for them. And so a system, an organizing system, has to change when your life changes, just like everything else. And it's not going to look the same for every person. And that is what I love, is figuring out exactly what works for you, because what worked for us in our 20s may not work for us in our 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond, because our mind changes, our body changes, what we can do changes, what our daily life, the rooms that we live in, the purpose changes, which I'll talk about later. And
Mhm.
so it's ever evolving. And the shame comes when our systems are stagnant, but our lives is ever evolving. And
Mhm.
we're beating ourselves up because we can't keep up.
Well, I'll tell you, for me, I did not get that gene that you got. I was not organizing. My mama had to constantly tell me, little girl, clean up your room, organize these things. So when I saw the name of your company, Natural Born Organizers, it made me start to think about the fact that there are some people that are naturally built this way, and then you got chicks like me, that are not. But what you're saying is that for those of us who are not naturally born organizers, we can figure out a system that can work for us. And so I don't have to like hurry up and try to clean things up before jumping onto a call with you. So let's talk about that system, right? Let's talk about what are some of those like 1 to 2 little tweaks that you feel someone like me can do and implement in their life.
Yeah, so it all starts with the beginning and then the end, or the maintenance part of it.
Okay.
So the first thing is really dreaming and thinking about what the purpose of a particular space is. That is the beginning of it. And that is where most people skip because they're so anxious to get into a space, move in, unpack, get all the things set up, pretty, right? But we skip over the purpose of a space. And when there is not a clear definition of a room, and in some rooms they're multi-purpose, then clutter is going to come because that's where the beginning starts. You know how what everybody says, or that famous line is every a place for everything, and everything has a place.
Yes.
It starts with the purpose of a room, right? So if a room is, let's say a seating area, right? So if that is the goal for that room, for me to sit, pray, meditate, yoga, read, just sit, then there shouldn't be toys in there. There shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be mail in there. There shouldn't be clothes in there because it's not a room that I'm folding clothes and doing laundry. It shouldn't be a craft room, right? So the purpose for a space begins everything, and most people skip it. Okay, so that's one thing. And then the end to sandwich it, the bookmark it, is the maintenance part. So a lot of times I will hear my clients say, "You wouldn't believe I spent all weekend organizing. Everything was so, perfect, and then it fell apart within 2 weeks." And that is because the system has to make sense for the maintenance, right? It's just like anything else. It's just like spirituality. It's just like fitness. It's just like nutrition. You can do the things to get to your goal, but if you don't have a maintenance, if you don't have it built into your schedule to read some scripture a little bit every day, to pray a little bit every day, to take a 15-minute walk, to get up and move and have so many steps, you're not going to stay at that goal. You're not going to maintain the goal. And
Mm-hmm.
so the purpose of being organized or having a system that makes sense for you in the way your household runs is that you can reset a little bit every day so that it doesn't go back. It has boundaries. So it doesn't go back to your natural tendencies to
Yes.
just drop things, right? And it also supports, not in a bad way, but it also supports the lowest version of you. Right? A lot of times people create organizing systems for the aspirational person, right?
Wait a
The
minute. This
person
is
you want
good.
to be.
Okay.
The
Mhm.
person you want to be. Okay. So
Right.
let's just, for story's sake, you want to be organized, right? So you see someone like me and you're like, I want to be like Tanisha.
Right.
You set up your systems how you think Tanisha sets up the system, but that's not feasible for you,
Right.
right? Because that is setting up a system for the Zarina that wakes up motivated, that's not sick, that's not tired, that may not be depressed about something, that's not overworked and stretched too thin and has to run and do this and that and this and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of the time is that Zarina waking up?
Right. Not all the time. I'll tell you that much.
Not all the time, right? The majority of the time, it is a version of ourselves that is quite a bit less than the aspirational version. We're juggling a lot of things. Things are going on in life, our personal life, the world, our family, work, business, and all of that impacts. So, what I normally tell people is create the system for the depressed version of you.
Mm.
Create the system for the person that's going through grief. Create the system for the one that, is having marriage problems or don't know what's going on or the kids or whatever. And I'm tired. Because if you can maintain the system there, everything else is gravy, right? So the system is built for that if all heck breaks loose and you can't do nothing for 2 weeks, a month, you just can't even get out the bed. When you do finally start to see the light, you don't feel like you're climbing Mount Everest to reset it because everything has a place and it's just a matter of hitting one thing at a time.
That is good. That makes me feel good that I can create a system for my lowest version of myself, something that is more doable and not so big. How many of you all like this idea? Some of you all on here are probably natural born organizers like Miss Tanisha. I told y'all I didn't get that gene, but some of you all may be like me, right? Where it may be a struggle to handle just the normal things. I don't know why it is like that, but it just is what it is. So when we're thinking about this, creating the lowest version, just give us maybe like one to two things, Tanisha, that you think could be for a general person or
Yeah.
someone that is, baseline. What is one to two skills or things that we should do and have in our low baseline system?
Okay, so let's say, okay, we all talk about we will do our laundry, we will put it in the dryer, right? But either it stays in the dryer or it stays in the laundry bin, right? We've all been there. We've
Yes.
all been, and then we start digging from the laundry bin because we don't have time to fold and put in drawers and all that stuff and hang it up and put it where it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Okay. So one of my tricks that I find is makes it a lot easier to finish that cycle is if you have the hanging space in your closet, it is so much easier to hang something than to fold it and then have to put it in a drawer. Like it's literally less steps, right? Like putting it on a hanger and putting it in the closet. So
Mhm.
that's one thing. Hang as much as you possibly can as your space allows. Okay, so that's one. The second thing is um, don't let perfection stop you from doing something, from taking any type of action. A lot of times, because we're looking for this, what's
Yeah.
behind me to be organized, we don't do anything. And
Mhm.
so, this is something that I do. So, if I know I don't have time to put all of the things, my pants with my pants, my sweatshirts with my sweatshirts, whatever, I will get it on a hanger, right? And I have a space in the front of my closet, at the very beginning, and I put all the clean clothes I just washed right in the front,
Yeah.
right? It's in the closet, it's up, it's on a hanger. And then when I have time, I'll take the sweatshirts, I'll put it in the sweatshirt section. I'll take my sweaters, I'll put it in the sweater section. I'll take my jeans, I put it with my jeans, right? It's done. Even an organizer, I have drop zones. I have tweaks. I have, little cheats, right? Because I know if I don't put my laundry up, that is the beginning of a spiral,
Ooh,
right? Because
yeah.
then I'm looking, I gotta go to a client, I'm looking for my work pants, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure if I have any more work shirts because they're all in the pile versus I can visually see it if it's hung up. Right. And so then it's the taking everything out. And if the basket's too big, then I'm dumping it on the bed. And
Mhm.
if I'm rushing, then it doesn't get back into the basket. Then when I get home, then it's a whole thing. Right. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So those are some tweaks that is less than quote unquote perfect, right?
Wait, I
Another
want to pause right there for a second, Tisha, because I think I want to come back to this because I think some of us hear you and it's like, that sounds really good, Tanisha. I tried to do that before, but I got a 4x4 space. I don't have a lot of space for my clothes, or what do I really do in this limited amount of space? So I want to come back to that, but I
okay.
want to shift for a moment. And I want to shift for a moment because what I'm thinking about now is my basement, for example. I'm thinking about my garage, for example. And right now, I am in a home that was my childhood home, okay? This house is my childhood house that I grew up in. And I ended up coming back to this house after my parents passed. And I know a lot of people who are on my list are either elders who are writing their own life stories, right? That's what our company is about, helping elders and individuals write their life stories and their memoirs. So we have a lot of elders who have either possibly inherited materials from their, from their
Mhm.
parents and such, or they may also be in a place where they do not want to burden their children with all of their stuff, right? And so, what do you think about this particular type of phase? Let's start first from the inheriting a lot of items, thing, mindset, because when you have all of these things, some people say just get rid of that stuff, just throw it away. Like some of it's good, some of it's not, just throw it away, right? And then you have some people who have been holding on to things for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, a decade, right? And they may be in the corner, in a bin, in the closet, and it's just overwhelming to even think about organizing those items. So let's
Yeah.
go to that perspective for a moment. And just what comes up for you when you think about someone that has been holding on to a lot of things, or they may have just inherited a lot of stuff, and it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, it's real. And and we're all gonna go through it if we're blessed to keep living, right? And so because of that, I created a framework. It's called CARE, right? And the one for after loss is it starts with compassionate listening for yourself,
Okay.
right? So listening and being mindful for how you feel in this moment, whether or not the loss just happened and you're literally still in the dark days, but you have to process and make certain decisions because of, is who's staying in the place, is, are we selling, are we leasing, are we whatever, right? So really listening and being mindful of how you feel hour by hour, minute by minute, day by day, right? And honoring your grief, right? And trying to balance out what you have to do versus what you want to do, okay? And then
Wait, what do you mean by that? Balancing out what you have to do
um
versus what you want to do.
so we don't want to nobody wants to go through, their loved ones things that they left unless you're looking for a particular thing, right?
Okay.
But there are times after people pass that you have to do certain things. If they lived in a house that nobody wants to live in and occupy, there has to be decisions on what's gonna happen. Are we leasing it? Is it just gonna sit dormant? Are we selling it? Maybe someone lived in an apartment or a condo or an apartment and you got 2 months. Sometimes you don't even have that. You have till the next rent cycle and you have to, clear it out very quickly. So just kind of balancing because sometimes in that grief, we don't want to deal with anything. So then we make very harsh decisions to try and move past it.
Mm,
Because we want to move to the next phase, not fully understanding that we can't control grief like that.
right,
You know what I mean? We can't, that's one thing that we're not going to control.
right.
Even the most, even the person that is the most control freak ever, we can't control grief, right? So sometimes we make decisions very fast, not because we have to, but because we want to try and get through this phase very quickly. And it just doesn't work like that. So
Mm,
sometimes we just have to pause because with me and my sister, we had to pause and decide what had to be done and what could wait. And we moved very quickly on a lot of things, but there were some things that didn't have to happen right now.
give
Like
me an
going
example. Yeah, give me an example.
like my sister knew, like literally, my dad passed in 2020, May of 2020, and my mom passed in September of 23.
Mm,
My sister, the night my mom passed, we are lying in the bed together, and she jumps up and goes, "Where am I gonna live? Where am I gonna live? I don't want to live here."
mm,
I said, It's okay.
Hmm.
Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. If you don't want to live here, you don't have to live here. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out. If we need to put it on Airbnb for a while and you move to a place where you're comfortable for a while, we'll do that until we figure it out. But you do not have to stay here longer than you don't want to, right? So that was one thing. And then another thing, so because of that, we cleared out our family home fairly quickly because she moved in with my mom after my dad passed.
Okay.
And we went through a lot because thank goodness we were on one accord for 99.9% of things. So we went through things fairly quickly and we processed a lot of things after my dad passed. But there were certain things like my mom's jewelry
Hmm.
that we
Y'all
opened.
fighting over the jewelry? Were y'all fighting over the diamond ring?
No, we both opened up that drawer. And outside of a couple of things, we were looking because my mom was from Panama.
Okay.
And so we were looking to see if we could find like certain things we knew that was like Panamanian jewelry, like the initial earrings and things like that. We were looking for particular things. But after that, we looked at it and we were like, neither one of us are ready. Like,
Mm.
we're like after that, it was very overwhelming. It was like,
I know.
right. And so I said, you know what? We're not gonna worry about it. We're gonna pack it up. I was able to put all of her jewelry in a small moving box, and I said, I'll take it to my house. I'll put it in the third bedroom, and when we're ready, we'll go through it.
Hmm.
And my sister was never ready. Let's just put that out there.
Yes.
But I think I went through that box maybe it was definitely before the year anniversary. I
Mm.
went through it and yeah, and I was fine, right?
But
And so
some of us got them boxes there for 10 years. They've been
I know.
still sitting there.
I know, I know. And it came, I stumbled on it because my mom had run or walked the LA Marathon years ago, like 30 years ago. And a really good friend of ours was running the LA Marathon this year.
Hmm.
And she loved my mom. And she was having a hard time with her training. And I remember there was a picture of my mom walking the marathon, and it was a frame, and it also had her medal. And I said, "Oh, Nay needs this. I need to give this to Renee."
Hmm.
Because she needed that motivation, and she kept talking about Mama Lions, Mama Lions, Mama. I said, "Oh, I gotta find this." And I said, I remember pulling it down off the wall. I couldn't remember exactly where I had tucked it, but I found it, and next to it was the jewelry, right? And so I had a free time, and I just started going through it. And I was in a different mind space, and saw some like these
Hmm.
earrings are my mom's.
Beautiful.
A year and a half ago, these earrings, it just was all blurred together, right?
Hmm.
It was all blurred together. But 9 months later, I was able to see, oh, I could still wear these. Oh, I remember taking these and then she took them back and then I took it was a different thing. But sometimes because we want to get through it,
Hmm.
do one of two things. We're going to throw it all away
Right.
because we're so scared of what emotions are going to come up. And I always tell people don't do that because even if 99.9% of that stuff is trash or you don't want it, there's going to be something in there. I don't care if it's papers, jewelry, something. It could look like a big old bag of junk mail.
Hmm.
I can guarantee you there's one thing in there that you need,
Mm.
right? And so you're going to do one of two things. Either you're going to throw everything away or you're gonna box it up, never to open it up again. And I need for people to find something in the middle.
Yeah.
Something in the middle because the things that we inherit, it's taking up our space,
Yes.
taking up our prime real estate. And if you only have a 4 by whatever closet, You can't afford to have a box of your mom's stuff, a box of your dad's stuff, this amount, a foot worth of things from their closet.
Yeah.
We just can't afford to give that much of our space to things that were left behind that we're not actively displaying,
Yeah.
using, archiving, preserving. Um,
Yeah.
we just don't have that luxury. We just
So I have a follow-up with this because you're absolutely correct that we do not have this luxury of, you know, just keeping these things around, just the space, as well as, like I said, that sneaky emotional heaviness that comes with just having it there, even if we're not touching it.
uh,
So the question I have for you, Tanisha, related to this, and those of you who are here, welcome you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to open up for Q&A in a moment, so you can raise your hand and I'll be able to unmute you. I'm going to take those of you who are in the Legacy Keepers. So I'm going to take my folks who are a part of our class first, and then we'll go to others as well, because I know a lot of you all have questions around this. But Tanisha, this is the issue that I'm dealing with right now on the very practical level, right? Like I have in my dining room, for example, there is a lot of crystal, what do you call those things? Like, those old sets, wine glasses, crystal, all of those things. I have
Princess, you got Princess House?
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, to be honest. I know that it's old. I know it's like, because it was my grandmother's.
Okay.
So my mother inherited it from my grandmother. Then I inherited it from her, right? And so some of this stuff I know for a fact is valuable. Even like our table, the dining room table has got to be at least 80 years old. And so it's like it's a quality, wooden, one of those type of things. And so even though the style does not look like me at all, it's like I haven't been able to figure out how to appropriately sell these things at the value that they should be. Like you're talking about the jewelry and stuff. So you may not want all of it, but you don't want to just give it away either because it is valuable stuff. So I've been kind of stuck in this realm of not even just the emotional, like, oh, this was my mom's, or oh, this was my grandmother's. It's like there's stuff in there that I know is valuable. I don't want to give it away for pennies, but I also know that I should not be keeping this
Okay.
anymore, Like, what do you say to someone like me?
Okay. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Give me your hand, Bison. Give me your hand. Give me your hand, Bison.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just because it's old, just because it's of quality, does not automatically make it valuable as far as cost.
Okay.
Okay. And so this is where you have to do a little bit of work if that is important to you,
Mhm.
right? So let's take Princess House crystal. Okay, so I don't know if that's the crystal that you have inherited, but it's basically crystal that have typically the majority of them have like this etched flower design through it, right? The majority of it had that. So Princess House was one of those things where it was like an Avon party for crystal, right? And of that generation, everybody collected that because it was a status thing, right? And they had a bunch of it if they were really in it.
Mhm.
I have a lot of clients my age and a little bit older that have inherited their crystal, their aunt's crystal,
Yeah.
their mom's crystal, and they have all of the things, duplicates and everything. Now, yes, they are valuable because they were from the 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s, probably not, 60s, 70s, 80s, right? But it's two things. It's how old are they? And then how much is still out there,
Mhm.
right? Now, if there wasn't a lot of Princess House crystal out there, then each piece would be more and more valuable.
Okay.
There's still a lot of Princess House out there, right?
Mhm.
So that is the barrier of being able to move to the next phase on whether or not you're going to sell it or not. It's really confirming if this thing is valuable, right? And I'll give you another example.
Hmm.
I have a client now who inherited her sister's art collection, which her sister had inherited from her husband,
Okay.
right? The husband has passed, the sister has passed. The husband had a very strong affinity for not Brazilian art, but I can't think of it, but like Brazilian art, right? Beautiful pieces, like 200 pieces, right? He bought it like in the 60s and 70s. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Not one auction house where was interested in it. They
Wow.
were expensive. They were assessed 10 years ago when the husband died, and the value is there. The problem is there's no interest in it.
Mm.
There may be an interest in certain communities because it's people of color and it has certain, qualities to it.
Hmm.
But for the masses, there's no interest.
Hmm.
So you can inherit artwork, furniture, china, crystal
Hmm.
that was worth something in the 50s, 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
right? But is no longer worth something 80s, 90s, 2000s because the interest is gone. So it's going to wane, it's going to ebb and it's going to flow.
Hmm.
So you then have to decide, well, number one, you have to find out, is there any value?
Yes.
And
How do you do that though? How do you find out?
you have to go to appraisers, which is not cheap,
Okay.
or you have to take the time to research.
Hmm.
Who has the time to do that?
Right. I'm already busy. Shoot.
Right. So you have to see if there is any value, if there was ever any value. Did it ebb and flow? And then you have to make the choice. Am I going to hold on to it until it flows again?
Oh.
It's a lot. It's nuanced. And
Hmm.
so then you have to balance, and this is where I'm holding your hand, Bison.
Hmm.
This is where you have to balance. Life is short. Yes, my parents paid a lot of money for this table.
Hmm.
But I am now living in this house, and this table is not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Do do I want, am I honoring them in the way I want to honor them by holding on to this table where it's taking up space in the house that I now own,
Hmm.
and my rooms don't look the way I had always envisioned my house to look because I'm holding on to this.
Yeah.
So you have to balance that out. And it might be that you get rid of the table, but maybe you keep some of the crystal,
Hmm.
right? But that is where you have to balance out all of the things that it would take for you to sell the thing.
Hmm.
So I also hold my clients' hands when they have a lot of decluttering to do
Yeah.
and they're uber focused on, I want to make sure these things get to the right person.
Yes, that's
I can get
me.
them
Anybody else? That's me.
because I know it's good.
Yeah.
Now that you have the luxury of doing that when you're decluttering at the in the moment, right? The maintenance part, right? So an example of maintenance decluttering is I've run out, I've washed all my clothes, I've sent everything to the dry cleaners and come back, and I've run out of hangers.
Hmm.
For me, a trick is I don't go out and buy more hangers. I see how many hangers I'm short, and start going through my
Oh,
closet. If I'm short 20 hangers, I'm looking in my closet and seeing if there's 20 to 30 things I can get rid of.
okay. That's a whole, hold on. That's
20
a
to
whole little mindset shift right there. Yeah.
So 20 to 30 things that I've purged, it's a lot easier to be particular of where they end up if they're still in good condition than 300 pieces of things.
Hmm.
So I hold my clients' hands and say, I know that these are good items. I know that they're still in good condition, but you don't have you're drowning and suffocating
Yes, literally.
under the excess. You do not have the luxury to be that particular of where it's going to end up. I need for us to touch and agree
Hmm.
that where it ends up is exactly where God intended for it to end up and
Mm.
that they need it.
Okay.
Because you're drowning and you're suffocating under these things. And we need to choose, is it them or is it me?
Yeah. Woo!
Particular in our quarterly maintenance call.
Hmm.
But right now, I see, I see what you can't see. And
Hmm.
all of this, and you waiting to make sure it goes to the exact
Yep.
place.
Yep.
And you nor me have time to research where that exact place is
Yeah.
because post COVID, there's a lot less places to send things.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
a lot of that groundwork is on us,
Yeah.
and we ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
So for this, I am imploring you, let's just get this stuff picked up and let's trust God that it's going to end up in the hands in the household that it needs to end up in.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. A couple of things that you said within there, releasing the guilt that you feel about trying to make sure it gets to a good place and all of that. I don't know about anybody else on here. Well, Lisa said, yeah, she agrees. I don't know, other people, but definitely that's something that has been, oh, like it's like being in a vice. It's like a chokehold that's been over me because I'm like, this stuff is good stuff. I just don't want to let my people, they spent their good money on this, and then I'm just gonna put it out there and it's
And
not
listen, they spent their good money, but if you start thinking about it of cost per use, they've made that money back. Your family estate has made that money back. How many dinners sat at that table?
yeah,
How many people drank out of that crystal?
yeah,
They made their money back. That estate made their money back 50 times fold,
yeah, yeah,
right? And also think about it. If there's a Habitat for Humanity that's near you, donate it in honor of your estate.
hmm, yeah,
There's a lot at Habitat Humanity that are older of
yeah.
quality, but it's not the demand for it isn't high enough to sell.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is really, really good. This is really good. I feel lighter, I feel less judged, with everything, carrying everything. I think it's still going to be, to be
It's
honest,
not going to be easy. It's not
it's
going to be
not going to be easy.
it's
Yeah,
not going to be easy.
it's
No.
not.
It is not going to be easy. And I created a download just for this
Hmm.
that I will,
Drop the link. Yeah, drop the link for us
drop
in the
in
chat.
chat.
Yes,
So
because
it's literally a download for people who need to go through things that they inherited,
mm,
go through things that for a loved one who's still here, and
mhm.
you want to try and help them downsize, and then also just going through your own things. So I'll drop it in the chat, and then also I have a school community that we were talking about this just last week, just talking about, what's that one thing or several things that you have in your house that you just not quite ready
Yeah,
to get rid of that, that you inherited. And my purpose for that was it's okay.
yeah,
It's okay. I still have a backpack, a leather backpack that my dad used to wear all the time. And I knew that that was going to be my new travel backpack. The problem is it's not practical for travel.
hmm.
It's nice, it's leather, but it has a lot of sections that aren't snaps, but they're buckles.
Oh, yeah.
Who
Ain't
wants
nobody gonna be doing
to
all
go
that.
to the
Right,
buckle to get your passport? And
right.
it's not feasible. And so I still have it. I just haven't, and it's on display. It's not packed up and with
Mhm.
the rest of my purses, but I haven't quite decided how I want to use it. But I have space for it, so I don't feel pressure to make that decision,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. No, this has all been, very, 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 very practical. I'm going to open up for Q&A and see if anyone here has a question. And then I'm going to bring them in. Okay, so Miss Sakina, Sister Sakina, I see you. I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself, and it should let you unmute, hopefully. And
Okay, can everyone hear me?
yeah, we can hear you. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, hello, and assalamu alaikum, and hello to everyone. So
Hi.
it's really great to be here. Actually, I just wanted to say this. I have an elder sister who's like 83, and I actually sent this link to her in hopes that she would register because she really, really needs it very badly. But for some reason, she's still not there yet. So I decided, even though I don't really have a problem with decluttering, I decided to come in and listen as well, so maybe I can help her. But I do have this question
Yes.
because what I have, something that I really want to do, and it is, I would like to have Tanisha elaborate on the concepts of minimalization versus decluttering. Because for me, I really would like to minimalize. I don't have a problem with clutter, but
Yeah.
I do think I have things that I don't really need, and I would like to minimalize myself. So can you elaborate on those two concepts for us?
Absolutely, absolutely. So just like most things, there's a scale, right? And so, a lot of people joke about there's minimalism and then there's maximalism, right? And then there's things in between. So if you don't have a lot of clutter, but you still feel like you have a lot of things just hanging about, minimalism is the fact of only having the things you actually need and use, right? Need and use. There's not, it takes away the, okay, I know I don't need, let's say, I know I don't necessarily do puzzles and play board games anymore, but if I entertain, if I have company, if I whatever, I want to have these things around, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But what a minimalist would do is, okay, I like playing Uno. So I'm going to keep some Uno cards. It's small, it could go into a drawer. That's it. A maximalist or someplace in the middle, they're going to have Uno cards, going to have 3 decks of playing cards. They're going to have Monopoly. They're going to have, knowing that whenever anybody brings up Monopoly, everybody's like, no, that takes too long. Blah, 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 blah. Ain't nobody playing, right? So, and then another example is I'm organizing someone's kitchen and I see a bunch of teas, enough teas to start a tea shop, right? A bunch of coffee and all of the accoutrements, the French press, the pour over, the Keurig, the dup, 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 dup. And I'm like, okay, who makes coffee and tea? Or no, I won't even say that. Normally the question is, how do you use your kitchen?
Yeah.
Coffee, tea, smoothies, warm lemon water. Wink, wink, Dr. Sam. And and 50% of the time, my clients say, "Oh, nobody, huh? You got a whole cabinet.
Yeah.
You can start a tea shop." like, you know. And so, a maximalist, or most people in the middle, will have teas, an assortment more than IHOP or any because when you go to certain restaurants you're gonna get 3 options. You're gonna get Earl Grey, you're gonna get a black tea and a green tea, right? But we got 30 options, so most of us will keep all of the options because we want to be hospitable, right? A minimalist, if they are not a tea person, if they are not a coffee person, they're not going to have any tea or coffee at all. What they're going to do is if when they
Mm.
know they're having company and if And when they know they're having company that likes tea, or they know that their cousin is coming over, they're staying for the weekend, and they drink tea every morning, they are a tea or a coffee connoisseur, then the minimalists will buy a small bag of coffee, or they'll tell their guests to bring their favorite coffee and they can make the coffee in their coffee maker.
Mm.
Because the minimalist doesn't even want the leftovers from the coffee from the guest.
Mm.
Because most of us are not going to want to throw away the coffee beans because we don't want to be wasteful. But chances are they're not going to use all the coffee. So a minimalist will probably tell the cousin that drinks coffee, because they got coffee, just pack whatever you need for however long you're going to be here. I have a coffee maker.
Mm.
So you see the mindset difference?
It's a whole mindset
It's
difference.
a whole different
Oh,
mindset.
yeah.
And so minimalism isn't for most people, but you can be minimalist-ish.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of room, right? And so what I would tell you is just go room by room, cabinet by cabinet, drawer by drawer, and start looking and finding, and they'll start to be illuminate themselves. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need that. And then you'll evolve. It'll be an evolution and you'll get there.
Did it let you unmute?
Oh, I think it's,
It muted her again.
I
Hold
think so.
on, let me see.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, and thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And some of what you said, I kind of already had that in mind about, especially with the room by room thing. It's what I like to do. And I don't want to be a minimalist,
Yeah.
but I do want to minimalize.
Yes.
So
And that
yes,
I feel like that is a wonderful balance. And then
yeah,
and
yeah.
before you leave, your sister is just nervous. She's nervous and she's scared.
Oh, she is.
Uh, because she knows her little sister, and she knows her little sister is not opposite but different than her, and has a different relationship with her things. And so she's scared that anybody who is more organized than her is going to have whatever same mentality. And so she's scared. And so just give her grace
I
and
understand.
listen for what what are her pain points?
Okay.
What frustrates her?
Yeah, I've
What
been being
upsets
patient
her?
and trying to be non-judgmental as well. And one last thing, if I may, I just want to say, for me, what we're talking about as far as people having to inherit from their parents, one of the things that I said to myself is I would like to minimalize really because I don't want my children
Yeah.
to have to do what we're talking about, some of us have to do. And that's one of my main incentives for trying to become a minimalist so that my kids can come into my home and they won't have a lot of stuff to deal with because I do know how that both my parents are deceased and
Absolutely.
we did go through this. So yes, thank you again. I don't want to take up any more time. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. And then another addition for those of us who are still here, in addition to streamlining our things for whoever is going to be left when we pass, also write notes. Write notes, giving them permission. Like, so let's imagine Zarina's parents saying, "Baby girl, don't worry about that table. I know you don't like that table. I know that's not your whatever. Don't worry about that table, baby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna donate that to Habitat.
Yeah.
Crystal, keep what you want,
Hmm.
put it on OfferUp or whatever, and people just bless somebody with it, right? Like that is a gift. It's almost like an advancce directive. It is a gift for those who are left behind.
Yeah.
Jot it down, because when we're gone, when we're gone, if this is still here, this is gonna feel like $1 million.
Yes.
people who are left because they know I love my alma mater like it ain't no other.
Mhm.
And they know that anything Howard, I'm like this. So, but me telling them, unless you want this, if this is all torn and you can barely see the bison, just go on and throw that away.
Mhm.
Or if it can be recycled, if things have changed, recycle that. Don't keep my bison, Stanley.
Yeah,
Don't,
yeah.
don't do it.
I think that's a beautiful thought. I do a lot when we're talking with our elders who are writing their stories and they're kind of reviewing their lives and things like that. We already talked about the guilt, the emotional side, that comes up, but we also started talking about things that we want to put into place for our future generations. So I love this idea of kind of adding those thoughts into our end of life plan. I'm a big proponent of like planning our end of life, and it kind of reduces a lot of the stress and weird emotions and such. But even just you saying that for our children and such, like, hey, I know you're going to inherit a lot of stuff when I'm gone, I want you to know that it is okay to let this stuff go. Like I think that is so freeing just to say
Like
that.
imagine someone who wrote in journals the majority of their life.
Yeah,
But I don't I don't want y'all to keep my journals,
yeah,
right? I but the person left behind is coming, but my mom's
yeah,
handwriting and she put so much this in, this is her. Unless you writing a memoir that ain't nobody gonna want to read,
yeah.
go on and go on and toss them things.
Mhm,
Dunk it in a big thing of water so everything like starts to blur together and
mhm,
it's dump it in the recycle. Right? Like things like that, right? It's like you didn't know any of my you didn't know any of my friends from my professional organizations. Toss all them pictures of me with NAPO and NAPO and this. You didn't know none of them.
mhm,
Just
mhm,
toss them.
mhm.
But those are the things that keep us stuck and it's like I got boxes and boxes of pictures from my mom when she was at the gas company. Half of them events, I don't know nobody in there.
Yeah,
But we hold on to because this was her life. But
yeah,
if I tell my family, don't worry about if there's a picture that you don't know nobody in there and nobody in the family said there's nobody in the family, go just toss it.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very, very freeing thought, a very freeing thought. So beautiful, Tanisha. This has been amazing. I want to thank you for coming in today. Tanisha, for those of you who all came in with us and joined us today, is from Natural Born Organizers. She has dropped a link. She's going to drop the link again into the chat. So those of you who want to follow up with Tanisha and you want to get that framework, care, how to go through these items that we are either inheriting or giving to someone else who will inherit it later on, you can download her framework, right? And you can get and to know how to make what we've discussed today be a practical part of your life because that's it. Knowledge without action is defunct, right? We have to put the knowledge that we attain into action. And so that's what we're going to be doing here today. Any questions that you all have, I'm going to be dropping this onto our YouTube page later, so I'll send out the link. But any follow-up questions that you were not able to ask today, you can put those onto the YouTube page as well. That is the Legacy Keepers. So the Legacy Keepers, you can go there and you'll be able to ask any follow-up questions. And I see a couple of people wanted to know how to get with someone like Tanisha, have Tanisha come out to your house, or what do you need to do in order to get assistance? Because I'm not even gonna hold you up. Like I could do some of these things, but I definitely need a Tanisha in my corner, even just to talk through some of the items. Even if I don't hire her to come to my house, like hiring her just to tell me, Z, do A, do B, do C, do D. You know what I mean? Like just that framework is definitely useful for me. And again, for those of you who are new to us, this is the Legacy Keepers. This is a part of our monthly master classes. We bring in experts from a lot of different arenas and areas centered around elder care, centered around preserving our stories, preserving our wisdom. If any of you all are interested in writing your story, your life story, or capturing the life story of a loved one, then we're going to invite you to go to thelegacykeepers.com where you can get access to our free masterclass that shows you how to get started with organizing decades of memories into something that people will actually want to read, right? So we're giving that gift to our future generations, something that they can actually hold on to and be able to know more about their ancestors who came before them. So Tanisha, I'm going to give you the final word. Is there anything that you would like to share, or as some of our coaches ask, is there anything that I have not asked you about today, which you feel has to be in this in our time today? You have the floor.
Yes. So circling back to the thing you put a pin in it, the key with organizing is your stuff to space ratio,
Stuff
right?
to space. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So the key is you should never have more stuff than your storage space allows. That's where the maintaining comes in. That's number one. And then someone in the chat mentioned organizing and keeping a household when you live with family.
Yeah.
Create a system, cleaning system, organizing system, declutter system for, you remember how I talked about for not your aspirational self? Okay, when you're living with other people, create it for the weakest link.
Mm.
Because a lot of times we're creating a system that makes sense for us, and then we're constantly having that tension because we're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. If you create the system for the weakest link, then it will start to make sense for them and it'll be easier. I'm not saying it's going to be 100% foolproof, but it'll be easier to get them to follow it and help with the maintenance. But if you're creating a system that only makes sense to you, then you are going to be the one maintaining it. And
Right, right. Thank
above all, don't judge yourself.
mm,
Just do a little bit at a time, get help where you need it, and just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Just don't stay stagnant.
don't stay stagnant. Miss Tanisha, thank you so much. I am extremely happy that you have opened my mind within this idea of keeping things organized and clean and decluttered, because I feel that we're getting lighter, right? We're getting lighter. And those of you who are here today, I want you to know that you showing up for yourself, for your families, for your future is a win. This is a win for you. So I want you to give yourself a hand, give yourself a hug, feel us holding your hand through the screen as well, because life is life, right? And all of us have so many things that are coming at us every single day. So, you all being here, you all absorbing this information, and I want to challenge you to take one thing that Tanisha said, right? I want you to take one thing that Tanisha said, and I want you to implement that into your new clutter-free life, or however you want to say it. But I want you to take one thing and adapt that and make that part of the way that you move forward. We'll see you all soon. Thank you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful week. All right. Bye, everybody.